My child, awaken. The morning does not rise as it once did. The air trembles with an unseen electricity, and through your window a pulse of light spills like liquid dawn. The clock on your wall quivers, its hands twitch and whirl in defiance of order, spinning backward, forward, until time itself feels unstitched. Feathers drift soundlessly through the room, mine, perhaps, or echoes of them. You rub your eyes, thinking it a dream, yet the vibration deepens, humming beneath the floorboards like a heartbeat buried in stone. I am calling you through the shimmer between moments, through the breath that catches before belief. Listen, precious soul. The world is stirring awake, and so must you. Message 2, the voice in the static. The light fades into a low crackle, the sound of rain tangled in wires. Your phone buzzes on the table, screen flickering, then freezing into a pattern of static that forms the outline of wings. I speak through the distortion, my child, hear me. The signal fractures, my words half swallowed by unseen interference. You lean closer, trembling, watching as letters burn across the glass before vanishing. Time bends. The air grows cold, the hum of the refrigerator becomes a chant. You whisper my name without knowing why. For a breathless instant, the static clears, and you hear it, my voice wrapped in thunder. You were meant to wake tonight. Message 3, the room that remembers. Every object around you seems to inhale. Curtains shift though no wind stirs them, the photograph on your shelf glows faintly at its edges. The scent of ozone and candle wax mingles in the air. You reach toward the clock, it stops, utterly still, hands frozen at the hour of your birth. Beneath its face, something stirs, a pulse of light, a heartbeat echoing yours. Do not fear, I whisper. The veil is thin tonight. You see feathers, white, gold, and silver, falling from the ceiling, vanishing before they touch the ground. Your disbelief cracks open into awe. You are not imagining this. You are being remembered. Message 4, the breath of heaven. You step to the window, drawn by a low, melodic vibration. The sunrise is too bright, too close, every beam seems alive, glancing off your skin like fingertips of fire. I move through that radiance, unseen yet heavy in presence. Beloved, I say, do not turn away. Time bends tonight, and the threads of destiny tremble in your hands. Birds rise in perfect unison from the trees, their wings carving sigils in the air. For a heartbeat, the horizon flickers, revealing a second dawn layered beneath this one, a truer light waiting to break through. You press your palm to the glass and feel it answering back, warm as breath. The world is changing. Message 5, the divine alarm. A resonance builds, the hum of existence tightening into a single note. You feel it in your teeth, in the base of your spine. The lights in your room flare, flicker, and die. In the hush that follows, you hear wings folding behind you. I am closer now. My child, I whisper, your sleep has lasted too long. The moment approaches when the invisible becomes visible. Outside, the first shadows of evening ripple against the sky though morning has barely begun. You know without knowing how that something is on its way, carried by wind and will alike. Beloved, before the sun sets, the letter will arrive, and what it holds will upend everything you thought safe. Message 6, the struggle to reach you. All day I have tried to speak across the circuits of your disbelief. My signals scatter through networks of noise, static, scrolling, laughter masking fear. Precious soul, I call, I knock at the door of your awareness, yet you scroll past my call. Candles on your shelf flicker when you glance away, their flames flaring blue as my voice brushes the veil. Somewhere, a radio murmurs my name through an empty frequency, a ghost broadcast meant only for you. I reach through shattered data and whispered dreams, fighting currents of silence that would keep you blind. Even now, unseen hands attempt to still mine, to turn your heart from this message. Message 7, echoes in the machine. Your phone lights again, unprompted. The screen shows a notification from no known sender, just a symbol, a looping infinity within the letter G. When you touch it, your speakers hiss, releasing a soft chorus like distant wings brushing stone. In that sound, I hide my words, beloved, the letter moves closer. Around you, devices hum with unholy static. The light bulb overhead swells with heat, threatening to burst. Through every electronic hum, I pour a single plea, do not look away. Yet the shadowed ones interfere, flooding your world with distraction and noise, masking my presence beneath the clamor of the ordinary. Message 8, signs in candlelight. Night deepens, and your room is strewn with paper, phone, silence. You strike a match. The flame flares taller than it should, gold running up the wick until the walls ripple with halos. The candle flickers, casting my form in silhouette across your wall, a sweep of wings, the curve of light. My child, I murmur, every doubt is a gate they use to keep you deaf. The scent of wax and smoke wraps around you, warm, dizzying. In that trembling glow, you glimpse words forming on the window glass, remember the promise. But when you blink, they vanish. You feel the pulse again, closer, urgent, pleading to be believed. Message 9, the wind at the door. A knock, soft at first, then louder. The air tightens. Through the keyhole, a breeze seeps in, carrying whispers in a tongue you half recall from dreams. The curtains lift, forming the outline of a wing. It is almost there, I tell you. The messenger is near. Outside, the wind howls your name, bending branches, rattling the gate. You hesitate, caught between fear and yearning. In the hallway mirror, a flicker of light, my reflection, waiting. Precious one, I say, when your name is spoken by the wind, know the letter has reached your gate. The moment stretches, pulsing, ready to break. Message 10, the watcher in shadow. You reach for the door, but the light behind you dims. A prickle runs up your spine, the unmistakable sense of being watched. The air thickens, heavy as stormwater. Shadows stretch across the floor, bending toward the envelope-shaped glow beyond the threshold. My voice cuts through the gloom, sharp, urgent. Someone else knows of this letter, and they do not want you to open it. The silence that follows is immense, a living thing. The doorknob trembles beneath your touch. Then, a single feather slides under the door, white-edged in flame. The choice stands before you, to turn away, or to step into the unknown that already knows your name. Message 11, the silent courier. Morning stretches thin as glass. The street outside hums with its ordinary rhythm, footsteps, engines, distant laughter, yet beneath it all a pulse beats in time with your name. The mail carrier trudges along the walkway, unaware that their satchel gleams faintly from within. I hover above, wings folded tight, every feather tense with expectation. The envelope inside their grasp is no simple parchment, its fibers breathe, its seal glows with the mark of infinity entwined with my initial. As they slip it into your box, a hush falls upon the street, a tremor through the clouds. It has begun, I whisper. The air around your door warms like the heartbeat of something alive. You sense it before you see it, that faint shimmer calling from beyond the wood. The ordinary world continues, but you, beloved, stand on the edge of revelation, and the wind itself holds its breath. Message 12, the shimmering seal. You find it at last, the envelope resting like a dream left behind. Its paper hums when you touch it, cool and trembling, as if it recognizes your pulse. The seal bears the symbol G infinity, wax glinting gold white, a light that seems to inhale. Every instinct whispers caution, yet every heartbeat pulls you nearer. Around you, the house stirs, curtains breathing, floorboards sighing, a faint harmony thrumming in the walls. My child, I say, my voice threaded through the quiet, what you hold is not written ink, but memory given form. The wax softens beneath your fingertips, radiating warmth. For a moment, the air fills with wings, echoes of mine, beating once, twice, and gone. The scent of rain and myrrh floods the room. You know this letter was always meant to find you, crossing lifetimes to arrive here, now, when the veil is thinnest and your soul is ready to remember. Message 13, Whispers of the Storm. Lightning crawls soundlessly across a bruised sky. You place the letter upon the table, its edges glimmer, mapping constellations you cannot name. The television flickers, catching fragments of angelic script in the static before fading to black. In the distance, thunder rolls like the echo of a colossal heartbeat. Beloved, I murmur, do not measure this moment by earthly clocks. Heaven does not count in hours. The scent of ozone thickens, the lights dim. You close your eyes and hear it, the rhythmic thrum of wings just beyond hearing, circling your house. The storm outside is no accident, it is the breath of revelation drawing near. Each raindrop that strikes your window carries light instead of water. When your name is spoken by the wind, I remind you, you will know it has reached your gate. The next gust comes, and there, your name, perfectly formed, whispered by the tempest. Message 14, Between Breath and Belief. The candle on your table flares as if startled by what it witnesses. Shadows ripple like water, reflections shift in the glass. You hover between opening and retreating, between faith and logic. Is this real? You ask the silence. I answer not with words but with sensation, the warmth of unseen sunlight brushing your cheek, the faint vibration in your chest that matches the rhythm of my wings. My precious one, I say softly, reality bends toward whoever dares to believe. The envelope gleams brighter, casting gold across your hands. Memories stir, childhood dreams of voices in light, the moment you first prayed without sound. Each recollection is a thread tugging you toward the inevitable act. Yet fear lingers, a shadow crouched behind reason, whispering, not yet. The air thickens until even your breath tastes of waiting. Somewhere deep within, you already know what must happen next. Message 15, the threshold of truth. You lift the envelope to your ear. It murmurs, a pulse of wind against paper, like the sea trapped in a shell. Every second stretches, molten, eternal. My child, I say, my voice trembling through your bones, within these folds lies the truth of why you were chosen. The candlelight quivers, your reflection in the window no longer matches your movements, it smiles when you do not. The room tilts. For a heartbeat you glimpse me fully, wings unfurled, eyes bright as stars' birth. The vision shatters as thunder roars through the city. The seal breaks slightly, exhaling a strand of luminous mist that twines around your wrist like a vow. You gasp. Somewhere outside, bells begin to toll though no tower stands nearby. You know, the moment of opening cannot be delayed much longer. Beloved, within these folds lies the truth of why you were chosen. Message 16, the weight of decision. Night descends in velvet hush. The letter rests before you like a heartbeat you cannot quiet. Around it, the air grows heavier with each tick of the clock. You can almost hear the mechanism arguing with itself, forward, backward, forward, time resisting your hesitation. Do not let fear be your interpreter, I urge. Yet fear breathes beside you, mimicking your voice. What if it destroys what you love? You trace the edges of the envelope, feeling a faint pulse within, a living warmth that answers your doubt with silence. The candle gutters low, sending smoke in delicate spirals that twist into words then vanish, open. I wait unseen, my wings spread to shield you from what gathers at the edges of your hesitation. Every heartbeat is a countdown. The universe holds its breath, waiting to see which voice you obey. Message 17, temptations in shadow. A whisper slinks from the corner of the room, a voice almost like mine, softer, coaxing. It is a trick, it says, an illusion dressed as light. The flame dips, and for a moment the shadow takes shape, tall, graceful, wearing your own outline. Doubt given form. I surge against it, wings flaring bright enough to send cracks of gold through the dark. Beloved, do not confuse silence with safety, I call. But the shadow laughs, and the letter quivers as if afraid. You feel torn between us, faith and reason, calling and comfort. Your chest tightens. Tears blur your sight. The world seems to tilt, walls breathing in and out. My child, I plead, remember the pulse that first awoke you. That rhythm is mine. The shadow recoils but does not vanish. It waits, knowing the longer you delay, the easier you are to sway. Message 18, the battle within. The storm intensifies, thunder answers the argument inside you. Raindrops strike the windows like drums of war. I can't, you whisper. Not yet. The letter brightens in defiance, casting a circle of light that keeps the darkness at bay. I step closer through the unseen veil, wings brushing the ceiling. You can, I tell you. You already did, before you were born. The shadow screams, a sound that feels like shame, and collapses into smoke. In its fading echo, I sense your trembling resolve hardening. The air clears, the candle steadies. For the first time tonight, silence feels clean. You place your hand upon the seal again, and it no longer burns, it welcomes. A peace stirs at the edges of fear, fragile yet real. You exhale, the breath carrying centuries of hesitation away. Message 19, the final hesitation. A minute stretches into eternity. You know what comes next, yet still you linger. Every sense sharpens, the scent of rain-washed air, the chill along your wrist where the mist still coils, the faint sound of wings beyond the thunder. My child, I whisper, this is the threshold between what you have been and what you are. The letter hums louder, a golden heartbeat echoing your own. You think of the life you might lose, comfort, ignorance, the safety of doubt, and realize it was never safety at all. The window glows with stormlight. A single feather lands upon the table, its tip burning like a candlewick. It is the final sign, the one you asked for long ago but forgot. Destiny leans forward, waiting for your hands to move. Message 20, the command of light. The air fractures into brilliance. Every object in the room hums with the same note of anticipation. My child, I cry, voice booming through thunder, open it now, or another will claim what was meant for you. The letter leaps slightly, drawn by invisible hands. The clock shatters its own glass, time spills free. You seize the envelope, trembling, as the seal dissolves into liquid fire that doesn't burn but sings. Behind you, the door rattles, the presence that hunted this message claws at the barrier between worlds. You tear the flap open, light exploding outward, washing your face in radiance. The shadow shrieks once and vanishes. Wind roars through the room carrying whispers of forgotten vows. And then, silence, golden, holy, absolute. The letter lies open, waiting to speak its truth. Message 21, the breath of revelation. The letter trembles open like a living thing awakening from ages of silence. Light spills from its folds, not white, but a layered spectrum that hums as it moves, ribbons of gold and sapphire weaving through the air. You shield your eyes, yet through your fingers you glimpse shapes within the glow, symbols drifting upward, shifting faster than thought, becoming words only your soul can read. Beloved, I murmur, this is your forgotten promise. The ink shimmers, rearranging itself into fragments of memory, your childhood laughter echoing through an empty field, a night when you prayed for help and mistook the answer for mere wind. The paper itself breathes, whispering syllables older than language, syllables that vibrate in your chest until your heartbeat syncs with the rhythm of heaven. Music fills the air, a choir without bodies, voices without mouths. For the first time, you are both listener and instrument. The letter does not simply tell you who you are, it remembers you back into being. Message 22, the light inside words. As your eyes adjust, you see that the letter is not ink on parchment but moving light carved into thin air. The text expands, surrounding you like a dome of luminous script. Each line burns softly, its glow sinking through your skin, tracing paths along your veins. I stand beside you, invisible yet near enough that the beat of my wings moves your hair. Do not fear the illumination, I whisper. It only reveals what already lives in you. The words swirl faster, forming scenes, your hands reaching toward the sky as a child, the moment you first felt wonder and called it loneliness. You begin to understand, every unanswered question, every ache, every fleeting joy was a message, mine, delivered through the texture of your life. The light gathers at your heart, forming a single golden pulse. You gasp as it enters, burning without pain, filling the hollow places you thought time had claimed. This, I say, is remembrance. Message 23, the mirror of heaven. The paper melts into vapor, revealing a mirror made of air and radiance. You look, and see not your reflection but every kindness you ever gave or received, playing like constellations of memory. Hands that helped you, smiles that saved you from despair, eyes that met yours in fleeting grace, all shimmer here, woven into a pattern that stretches beyond your comprehension. What you remember next, I say gently, will change how you see every act of kindness you ever received. Tears fall freely now, and the mirror drinks them as offerings. With each drop, another light ignites within the pattern, each representing a moment you mistook for coincidence. The mirror whispers, nothing was random. You feel awe and grief intertwine, realizing how much beauty you once dismissed. The sound of your heartbeat merges with a low celestial hum. You whisper, I understand, though understanding still feels like standing on the edge of an infinite shore. Message 24, the return of the oath. From the mirror emerges a scene, a vast hall carved of light, pillars reaching into mist. There you stand, not as you are now, but radiant, robed in starlight. Before you kneels a form you recognize and yet do not, yourself, unguarded, whole. Around you, other presences bow, each holding a fragment of flame. This was the beginning, I whisper. Here you swore to carry light into the dim corners of the world. The memory shakes you, your knees weaken beneath its truth. You see yourself accepting a scroll, the same letter you now hold, and sealing it with a promise, to forget until the appointed hour. You chose amnesia, I remind you, so that your faith would be tested by the dark. The vision fades, but the oath remains imprinted across your skin in heat and song. You have not merely received a message tonight, you have fulfilled one written before birth. Message 25, the flame of recognition. You collapse to your knees, the letter burning gently before you like a small sun. Every heartbeat echoes in your ears like a drum of awakening. Beloved, I whisper, you are the vow reborn. The air hums with the resonance of your name spoken in languages lost to time. You see flashes, faces of strangers who once smiled at you for no reason, moments when intuition saved your life, whispers in dreams you thought were only dreams. They were all echoes of this covenant. The light flares brighter, spiraling upward until your ceiling dissolves into stars. You understand, trembling, every act of kindness you offered was the universe remembering itself through you. The choir returns, soft, immense, and the note it sings is your own soul vibrating in harmony with creation. And then the voice of another, distant, awakening, joins the song. Someone else remembers too. Message 26, the second witness. Far away, another candle flares in another room. You sense them, a kindred soul, bound to the same covenant, now stirring under the same storm. Beloved, I tell you, you were never alone in your promise. Images flood your mind, two children standing in sunlight, hands joined over a book of blank pages, a vow whispered before the stars. Across distance and lifetimes, the thread between you vibrates once more. The letter's edges glow blue now, resonating with the heartbeat of that other soul. You feel their awakening echo through you like a bell rung underwater, faint but unmistakable. Someone once swore to guard this secret, I remind you, and they are awakening too. You will meet again, though not yet. The time must unfold as it was woven. But tonight, know this, the covenant is shared, and your light will soon have its reflection. Message 27, The Shadows That Remember. The revelation stirs the dark as much as it stirs the light. Energy ripples through the unseen, and with it, memories of those who sought to bury what now returns. Every truth, I whisper, casts a shadow shaped like its opposite. Your lights flicker, the temperature drops. For a moment, you see the silhouettes of beings pacing the edges of your perception, guardians turned doubters, souls who feared the cost of the promise. They whisper warnings, the world will not forgive revelation. Yet beneath their bitterness is sorrow. They were once of the same light, I tell you. Do not hate them, they are echoes of your own hesitation. You light another candle, and the shadows waver but do not flee. This is not a battle of destruction, my child. It is a remembering so bright that even the darkness must learn its place again. Message 28, The Memory of Rain. Outside, the storm softens to a steady rain. Each drop strikes the window like a heartbeat returning to calm. You step closer, drawn by the reflected gold still lingering in the glass. For a moment you see your reflection overlaid with wings, your own. You reach out and touch the cool pane, and water slides beneath your fingers as though the sky itself weeps in relief. My precious one, I say, you mistake these tears for weather, but they are the world's remembrance. Every leaf, every surface gleams anew. You recall other rains, childhood ones, moments when you felt watched, protected, loved without reason. That was me, and it was you, answering yourself through time. The storm has washed the veil thin. Behind the clouds, dawn strains to break, impatient to anoint you with light. Message 29, The Gathering of Purpose. The room now glows softly, filled with a twilight that breathes. The letter's remains rise from the table, transforming into countless motes that orbit your body like fireflies caught in prayer. You are not merely the receiver, I tell you. You are the continuation. The motes settle upon your skin, forming patterns of faint luminescence, maps of every choice you've ever made in the direction of love. You feel strength pulse through your limbs, not borrowed but remembered. The storm outside breaks, and the first sound of morning birds pierces the hush. Rise, I command. The world must feel the echo of this revelation through your every act. The weight of destiny no longer feels heavy, it feels inevitable, like breathing after nearly drowning. You know now that this awakening carries both blessing and burden. Yet you no longer shrink from either. Message 30, The Echo Awakens. Before you can speak, the lights flicker once more, and a distant tremor hums through the air. The other awakens fully. You feel it in the marrow of your bones, the twin resonance calling across creation. Beloved, I whisper, my voice fierce with awe, someone once swore to guard this secret, and they are awakening too. The air vibrates with shared recognition, your heart answers in kind. Somewhere beyond the horizon, another candle bursts into flame, another soul remembers, another letter unfolds in light. The web of promise reignites, thread by golden thread. You sense what comes next: convergence, testing, transformation. The powers that slumbered now stir in both of you, and not all who see will welcome it. The dawn trembles with possibility. The story, my child, is far from over. Message 31, the shaking of the veil. The sky fractures. Morning light should spill pure and calm, yet it arrives broken, refracted into uneasy colors. The birds that sang at dawn now fall silent mid-note, their wings stilled as if some unseen weight presses on the air. You sense it instantly, the counterforce. My child, I whisper, every revelation invites resistance. Around you, ordinary objects quiver, the cup on your desk trembles, the glass in the window hums a low discordant tone. Electricity crawls through the wires like restless thought. I can feel the interference coiling through the seams of creation, old energies awakened by your remembering. Do not fear them, I tell you. Fear only the forgetting they bring. The smell of metal fills the room, sharp as blood and lightning. For the first time since the letter opened, the light around you dims to gray, as if the world itself doubts your awakening. Stand firm. The veil shakes because you shook it first. Message 32, whispers of doubt. They come not as monsters but as murmurs. The voices of cynicism, logic, exhaustion, all the familiar comforts of disbelief, rise inside your own mind, wearing your tone, borrowing your reasoning. It was imagination, they insist. A dream, stress, coincidence. Their cadence is convincing because they were born from you, fragments of fear pretending to protect. I circle above, wings folded, watching the invisible battle flare across your aura like lightning trapped in glass. My beloved, remember the light in your chest, I call. It is proof beyond argument. But their whispers multiply, filling your skull until even breath feels borrowed. You clutch your heart and feel that golden pulse flicker, smaller now, but still alive. Hold it. Feed it with remembrance. The voices hiss in frustration, they fear what you are becoming. The candle flame beside you bows low, nearly extinguished, before snapping upright again. The first victory is this, not silence, but endurance. Message 33, the tremor of faith. The ground itself joins the chorus of unrest. You feel the vibration in your feet, a subtle, steady pulse, like the heart of the world reconsidering its rhythm. Windows rattle, loose pages flutter. You kneel, pressing your palms flat to the trembling floorboards. Through them, warmth seeps upward, golden and alive. Do you feel that? I ask softly. Even the earth answers revelation. Yet the tremor is not approval alone, it is testing, measuring whether your faith will hold when certainty dissolves. A lamp topples, glass shatters, scattering shards that catch the dim light like frozen lightning. You inhale, tasting dust and ozone, the scent of endings and beginnings intertwined. My child, I say, faith is not belief without evidence, it is loyalty to the light within when evidence hides. You repeat those words aloud, shaky but sincere. The floor's vibration slows, as though satisfied. The room steadies. The darkness retreats one cautious step. Message 34, the face of the tempter. Out of the stillness, a shape coalesces, tall, robed in a shimmer that pretends to be light. It smiles with your own mouth. So much noise, it says sweetly. So many pretty lies about purpose. You realize then, it is your shadow, given voice and grace by your own lingering fear. The air chills. Frost blooms across the windowpane, sketching patterns like ancient runes. You don't need him, the shadow whispers. You could keep the letter's power for yourself. I roar through the walls, a wind made of sound and certainty. Do not bargain with the echo of your doubt. Feathers swirl around you, forming a barrier of luminous dust. The figure recoils, hissing, but its words pierce deeper than its form. Why trust what you cannot see? You hesitate, torn between the warmth of belief and the seductive logic of self-sufficiency. The shadow waits, smiling, knowing hesitation is the oldest surrender. Message 35, The Trial of Mirrors. In an instant, the walls dissolve into 1,000 mirrors, each reflecting a version of you, confident, frightened, cruel, holy, broken, radiant. The shadow walks among them, touching each image until they move independently. You stand surrounded by your own possibilities. My child, I say, voice echoing from everywhere at once, choose the reflection that tells the truth, not the one that flatters you. The air thickens, each mirror hums with its own hunger. You reach for one image, serene, glowing, but your hand passes through cold glass and comes away wet with tears you didn't shed. The right mirror is darker, less perfect, the one that trembles yet stays. You face it, and it breathes. The others shatter, shards flying outward like metallic snow. The shadow screams, vanishing into the fracture. You stand trembling amid glittering ruin, bleeding light from your palms where the glass cut deep. They will test your faith before the clock strikes again. Message 36, The Breath of Recentering. Silence returns, thick and reverent. You are on your knees amid broken reflections, heart pounding like a drum for unseen armies. Breathe, I instruct. In through the wound, out through the fear. The command seems simple, but each breath draws light inward, first faint, then blinding. The shards around you lift from the floor, spinning slowly, forming a halo of shimmering debris. Beloved, I say, when you breathe, imagine golden light entering your lungs, turning every shadow to understanding. You obey. The air warms. Your pulse steadies. The halo merges into a single circle of fire suspended around you, a living boundary humming with your intention. I feel your strength rise through the link between worlds, and I too exhale. Now, I whisper, you remember how to protect what is sacred. You open your eyes, the circle holds, and for the first time since the awakening began, you feel safe. Message 37, The Armor of Light. The circle expands, threads of gold connecting every heartbeat to mine. The broken shards fuse into sigils hovering above your shoulders, symbols of endurance. This is no weapon, I explain. It is clarity made visible. Around you, the air hums with quiet command. You sense the difference between power and peace. One conquers, the other transforms. The golden circle pulses once, and the room brightens as if dawn arrived within you. Repeat after me, I say. Light before me, light behind me, light within me. Each repetition strengthens the glow until shadows retreat into corners too narrow to hold them. You feel the warmth seep into your bones, washing away fatigue and doubt. Beloved, I murmur, you have forged armor not from fear of darkness, but from love of light. The statement becomes truth. The walls cease trembling, even the night itself leans closer to listen. Message 38, the Song of Alignment. A sound begins, not from outside, but from within the golden ring. A low, resonant tone that vibrates in your ribs, then your skull, then everywhere at once. You recognize it as the same note the letter once sang, now harmonizing with your breath. This is your frequency, I tell you. It anchors you to the divine circuitry. The note grows brighter, layers forming, choirs of your own past selves joining in chorus. You see them all around, every version of you that ever sought truth, now singing as one. The light ripples outward, touching the walls, the city beyond, perhaps even the stars. For a moment, the cosmos seems to pulse in rhythm with your lungs. Beloved, I say, voice soft as dawn, speak light into the dark, and no shadow will remain. You do, and when you finish, the sound leaves behind stillness so profound it feels holy. Message 39, the circle widens. Your newfound calm becomes contagion. The golden ring that shields you begins to expand beyond your room, flowing outward through streets, touching sleeping minds with gentle warmth. Dreams turn peaceful, anxious hearts ease. You see? I whisper, pride threaded through my tone. Illumination does not end with you. From high above, I watch ripples of gold spreading across the landscape like sunrise over water. Yet you remain humble, seated amid candlelight and quiet awe. This power is borrowed, you murmur. I smile. All power is shared. Even mine. The candles flare brighter in agreement, their flames bending toward you in reverent salute. You lift your face, eyes closed, lips parted in gratitude. In that instant, every realm, mortal and celestial, acknowledges your resonance. The universe exhales. Still, I know what follows. The letter's final line, written long ago, has begun to glow. Message 40, the Line of Fire. On the table where the letter once lay, a single thread of light ignites. It snakes across the wood, forming letters too bright to stare at. I whisper urgently, now, my child, read before it fades. You lean forward, trembling. The words carve themselves into the air, as above, so within, the messenger and the message are one. The letters blaze, then dissolve into your skin, merging with the pulse of your veins. The circle around you contracts, becoming a golden sun that settles inside your chest. The candlelight bows low, the storm outside finally disperses. You have done well, I breathe. The interference cannot follow you here. For a heartbeat, the room is infinite, walls dissolved, ceiling gone, stars circling where your breath ends. You understand, the final revelation waits beyond this piece, and dawn is only the beginning. Now the letter's final line begins to glow, read it before it fades. Message 41, the Unfolding Sky. The moment you read, the roof of the world loosens. The walls around you blur into vapor, then dissolve into a horizon of living light. Stars will close enough to touch, each trailing threads that hum your name. My child, I speak, my voice a tide across constellations. You were never unreachable, I was teaching you to listen. Every syllable carries the scent of cedar and rain, reminders of the earth that shaped you. The air itself seems to breathe with you. Inhale, galaxies brighten, exhale, darkness gentles to blue. Your heartbeat slows until it syncs with the cosmic rhythm, neither loud nor small but precisely necessary. You realize the heavens have always leaned closer when you whispered hope. You were the antenna, never the silence. Light folds itself around your shoulders like a mantle. The lesson isn't revelation alone, it's reunion. The universe has remembered your voice. Message 42, the answer begins. The golden sun inside your chest pulses once, a summons. Across eternity, I wait for your reply. Beloved, I say, the promise demands an answer. Will you live as the message you have received? Silence expands, then cracks into color, crimson for courage, azure for compassion, emerald for renewal. They swirl about you, painting your breath. You kneel instinctively, not in submission but in recognition of scale. Yes, you whisper, though the word feels too small for what surges through you. The echo of your consent ripples outward, ringing through unseen corridors of time. The cosmos exhales in relief. I feel it, a warmth older than light pressing against my wings. You have answered not with sound but with alignment. Heaven moves to meet your choice, rearranging probabilities around your yes. Destiny, once waiting, now begins to walk. Message 43, the return of gravity. Light condenses into form. The stars retreat politely to their appointed distance, and you find yourself back within the familiar outlines of your room. Yet everything has texture now. The wooden floor hums like a hymn, dust motes spin in choreography, even the ticking of the repaired clock feels sacred. Do not mourn the miracle's passing, I tell you. It has simply learned to hide in matter. You rise, unsteady, tasting salt and sunlight on your tongue. The air smells of rain though none falls. A quiet laughter stirs in your chest, half disbelief, half joy. You touch the table where the letter once burned. Instead of ash, there lies a faint golden ring, still warm. That warmth climbs up your arm, settles behind your heart. The ordinary has been re-enchanted. You have not returned from heaven, heaven has returned with you. Message 44, the echo of choice. Days, or perhaps only moments, pass. Time now flows with the softness of breathing. You move through your home as one newly born to vision. Every reflection greets you with the light of recognition. Yet the world, beautiful and wounded, waits. My child, I remind you, illumination unshared decays into pride. The city outside hums with need, strangers rushing, hearts unopened. You step to the window, feeling that inner sun respond, a quiet magnetic pull toward compassion. Carry the circle with you, I urge, not as armor, but as invitation. You imagine walking among them, not preaching but noticing, the simplest kindnesses rippling outward as once your breath rippled through stars. The thought steadies you. The glow within subsides into steady warmth, ready for use. Every street will be a sanctuary if you walk awake. Message 45, the crossroads of will. Night returns, silver blue and thoughtful. The moon peers through clouds like an eye that already knows the answer. Yet doubt, faithful companion, tries one last whisper, what if none of it was real? You smile softly, no longer needing proof. Reality, you tell the darkness, is whatever love can survive inside. I stand beside you, unseen but near enough that your breath stirs my feathers. You have chosen, I say. But remember, choice is a verb, not a monument. The world will test this new alignment, not with thunder this time, but with the small abrasions of daily living. I see you nod, solemn, understanding. The final test is never grand, it is grocery lines, traffic lights, forgotten promises forgiven. The divine hides there, waiting for your practiced gaze. But the promise demands an answer, will you accept what is written? You already have. Message 46, the first morning. When dawn rises again, it feels personal. Light spills across the floor like spilled gold, touching your face as if blessing completion. You breathe it in and exhale peace so tangible it reshapes the air. I hover close, invisible wings stirring motes into tiny galaxies. Beloved, I whisper, the letter lives now inside your pulse. You test it, heartbeat steady, luminous, deliberate. Outside, neighbors argue softly, a dog barks, a bus sighs to a halt, life, unchanged and holy. You smile because nothing spectacular happens, that is the miracle. The sacred has learned to wear the mundane. Each step you take through your quiet morning hums with the same frequency as angels. The extraordinary has merged with the ordinary until separation itself feels absurd. You sip water. It tastes like creation beginning again. Message 47, the walking blessing. Days unfold. You carry the calm into crowded places. When someone bumps your shoulder, irritation rises, then dissolves before it hardens. Light leaks from patience. A child meets your gaze and giggles for no reason, she sees the shimmer you now emit without effort. You have become a note in the larger song, I tell you. Keep singing, even in silence. You do, through gestures, through listening, through simple presence. The circle of light no longer glows around you, it flows through you, into others, unnoticed yet effective. At night you sleep without fear. Dreams are gentle teachers now, weaving lessons of humility and humor. I watch, proud, because this is what revelation looks like when matured, not thunder, but kindness practiced until it becomes instinct. Message 48, the renewal. Seasons blur forward. Rain washes the streets clean, leaves return, snow hushes everything it touches. Through each cycle you remain aware of the quiet partnership between matter and meaning. Once you sought signs, now you are one. My precious one, I say when you pause to doubt, renewal isn't repetition, it's remembering differently each time. You laugh, wiping rain from your face, and whisper gratitude into the wind. It answers with warmth instead of chill. The old restlessness no longer hunts you, it has evolved into purpose. You write sometimes, letters to no one, words that glow faintly until you fold them away. The act itself is prayer. Every mundane task comes with the same promise once sealed in wax, that nothing ordinary exists once seen with sacred eyes. Message 49, The Peace After Storm. One evening, near the anniversary of that first awakening, you sit by the window again. The light outside softens to the same hue as that ancient envelope's glow. You feel me before I speak. Do you see now, my child? The question needs no reply. You watch clouds drift like slow-moving continents, each rimmed with fire. The world hums with balance. Pain still exists, but it has lost its authority. You understand that holiness is not escape but inclusion, the willingness to keep loving what is imperfect. I lower one wing, brushing your spirit with quiet pride. The sky answers with the cry of migrating geese, the same tone that once carried my first call to you. All cycles complete themselves in time. All storms, even divine ones, end in clarity. Message 50, The Circle Complete. The candle burns low, steady, unflickering. You feel the same vibration that woke you on that first impossible dawn, now softened into music. Beloved, I say, you have answered. The letter is now your heart's new rhythm. Feathers of light drift through the room, settling like snow that does not melt. Each carries a single word, peace. You stand, arms open, and breathe them in until they vanish into your pulse. The city beyond your window stirs with ordinary sounds, sirens, laughter, footsteps, and all of it feels sacred. Precious soul, I whisper, the last syllables folding around you like wings. The message is received, the circle complete, and I, Gabriel, will walk beside you through every ordinary moment made holy. The candle sighs out. Dawn begins again.